Hello and welcome back. Yeah, here's an update for the 10850K system. Intel replaced the CPU with another 10850K, which is perfectly fine with me. I went ahead and swapped out the 10100 and booted it up. I'm currently running it at 2133 for the RAM. I don't need to stress the RAM or the CPU at this point, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not an overclocker, so overclocking is not my thing, but installed Heaven Benchmark here, and I want to go ahead and give it a quick run and see how it holds up and everything else. But yeah, so far so good. The idle temperature for the CPU is 50C. It fluctuates between 40 and 50C, and that's with this EVGA all-in-one 240. I did replace the EVGA fans. They're extremely noisy and they don't do a real good job of pulling air through the radiator. I'm going with the pull instead of the push because it makes absolutely no difference. And this way here I can keep an eye on the fans, make sure they're spinning if that's an issue. But yeah, if it doesn't do cooling, I can always swap it out to the fans in the front of the radiator, but really I've done this enough times to know that that really makes no difference. Ideally, I would have preferred to have the radiator mounted up on top, but because of the Corsair Vengeance memory, there's a height clearance with the fans that I can't get them up there, so I went ahead and moved the RGB case fans from this Phanteks case to the top. Overall, I really do like this case. It's been really easy to build in. It's not a bad looking case. The price was, very reasonable and everything else. And the Tough Gaming board here has been pretty decent as well. It was easy to work with. I didn't have any problems. I did update the BIOS by accident because it gave me the option. I thought I was updating, the Wi-Fi drivers, but nope. I was actually updating because I misread it, Wi-Fi. So it's the Wi-Fi drivers. So it's got it has the latest BIOS in it, and it is running. This RTX 2060, I really can't recommend this card to anybody. I've tried multiple cards in the past. Gigabyte, MSI, EVGA, Asus. I think I even have another brand, Acerrock, or one of those offshoot brands, Zotac. And of all of them, the Gigabyte cards seem to be the most finicky, problematic cards. Now, granted, I did have a bad spell with an EVGA 560 at one point, and I ended up, thanks to EVGA, ended up with a 770, which I later sent to a friend of mine, and he's using that card at least for another few months before EVGA NVIDIA no longer provides updates for those cards, in which case, it'll slowly end up becoming obsolete, much like a GT 8800 or 9800 became. But I wouldn't mind picking up a nice 3070 Ti or even a minimum 3060, but at the cost that they want for these things right now, it's just absolutely insane. I mean, I did win the the Newegg Shuffle, and I could have bought a 1060. I think it was a Gigabyte 1060 for the low budget price of $700, and they even gave me a Gigabyte power supply that when I researched the power supply, you plug one of those things into your system and it's Russian roulette whether it's going to start a fire or not. So the reviews on those things are so abysmal that no wonder they're forcing them into the bundles and whatnot. They can't sell them because they are defective defective power supplies. And Gigabyte's response to everything is, you just don't have it installed correctly. Come on. But, yeah. Anyways, it's been working. It was a little bit hard to get it to initially boot up because, it just, sometimes Windows doesn't want to participate when there are changes made. So it took a little bit of finesse and some work, but eventually I did get it to post without issue. It wasn't a mechanical issue, it was a Windows issue. Alright, so here we are. Here are the results. They're not great. you know, it's nothing to blow your skirt up at, but yeah, overall not bad at all. So I'll go ahead and find my mouse. There she is. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Close. And quit. And see if we can get out of here quick enough to see what the temps are running at. Alright. Come down here. The blue is the CPU, which is 62 Celsius, and the red is the CPU, which is 32 Celsius. So again, Heaven tests the GPU, not the CPU. And I've got the flow, EVGA flow going here to kind of keep it, you know, it gets the information from the same sensors, but I'm just kind of curious. It'll give me a log so I can look at the heat of the CPU over the course of the benchmark. Alrighty, so that's just one of the first benchmarks I'm going to run. I'm going to run a whole bunch more, and hopefully the system will stay stable, and we won't have a reoccurrence of the issue with the 10850K that bricked the system last time out. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.